All right, let's get into it. Let's get into Inauguration Day 2025, Trump Volume 2. Let's jump into this.
You don't have to know a lot of things in order to make a huge difference for the Lord in the world. But you do need to know a few things that are great and be willing to live for them and die for them.
Will I let Jesus prove to me that he's truly my strength? To let him prove inside of me that through him I can do all things.
The True Strength Life Podcast with Aaron Simpkins.
Proverbs 11, verse 14. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but with many counselors comes deliverance. All right, so as you can see, I'll get it out, right in the beginning. You see the Make America Healthy Again. You see the Make America Great Again. So there's no, I'm not hiding the fact that I as of right now, I'm a Trump supporter. Obviously conservative, and none of this is a surprise if you've listened to the show. So I just thought I thought I'd place the hat up there. The hat is only going up there on the shelf for one episode. That's not going to be a regular thing, but it seemed appropriate for Inauguration Day. So what was today? Today was Inauguration Day. Inauguration Day, for those who don't know, is when the president-elect gets sworn into office, takes the oath, and the current president, his term is done, officially done, and the new president and vice presidents are officially sworn in. So that's what happened today. It happened inside at the Capitol, which I believe I heard is only the second time that's ever happened. And they stated that was mainly for weather reasons. Too cold there. They didn't want all those people, outside for hours and hours, because it was very cold, or is very cold. And they also stated the possibility of some security threats to Trump and his team. So all that being said, the ceremony was held inside. It basically went off. It basically went off without a hitch. Carrie Underwood came to sing, and what'd she sing? She sang "America the Beautiful," I believe, and she had music with that, but the music wasn't working. So then, kind of what ended up working out in her favor, and ultimately in the long run, I think people were happy about. She had this moment where, the music wasn't working. She waited, and she just said, "It's fine, I'll sing it." So she just started a cappella, just singing. And it was very good. It was very good, but also I think what was really cool about it was she had everybody in the room singing. Everybody in the crowd, everybody standing up there, basically everybody was singing. And that wouldn't have really happened if she had just come in and sang normal with the music. So that was pretty cool. That was a cool little moment that happened. And so what's some of the news from today? Obviously inauguration happened. It's also Martin Luther King Day. It's worth noting that. And so with the inauguration, the big news was that Trump was going to come in and he was going to sign us, just a whole bunch a flurry of executive orders and actions and all kinds of things, which he did. And I will say for a minute, I'm not the biggest fan of executive orders. It kind of seems like it seems like it's not doing what our government is supposedly set up to do, ran by the people. And there's all these checks and balances, all these different things have to run through all these different hands and all these different votes and all these different, whole big groups and committees and all that for stuff to happen. So for a president to have the ability to come in and through executive order just say like, hey, this is what I want done, and we're just gonna do it. I'm not gonna go through the whole process. I'm gonna just do it. Excuse me. I don't love that, and it doesn't seem like that's how we're supposed to really go. We're supposed to really, go about things. But the thing is, what it's become in modern day is really, one president comes in, does a whole bunch of executive orders to end what the last president tried to do and what he had going. And then they do other executive orders to push what they want to do. And then the next president comes in and does the same exact thing. And that's exactly what is happening right now. I remember 4 years ago when Biden got in, how a whole bunch of talk was going on, especially in conservative circles and all that, how Trump had all this great stuff going forward and in play. And then, day one, day two, Biden comes in, autographs a whole bunch of papers and executive orders, and then, does away with. And he even said, I think, I'm writing all these executive orders to do the opposite of Trump or just to get rid of, Trump. And so then what did Trump do? Well, Biden leaves office today. Trump gets sworn in and basically immediately goes and writes a whole bunch of executive orders to end what Biden was doing and push what he wants to do. So here's the thing. For me, personally, and I'm sure a lot of you listening can relate to this. Like I've already said, I don't love that, and I don't like that is a thing that we do or now has become normalized as presidents come in and out. So I don't love that. But at the same time, the end results of what Trump is going to sign, I'm most likely probably going to like it and agree with it for the most part. So, that being said, so it's kind of a weird place I'm in. I guess I'm just trying to say that. I don't love that it happens, but at the same time, for the next 4 years, I'm going to like the end results of it. It's just, it's a weird place. So anyway, let's just some ones that I thought were, worthy to talk about for a couple seconds. He signed an executive order directing U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, which, why wouldn't you? If you were America first, why wouldn't you? Because our country's supposedly supposed to hold up our end of the bargain when it comes to all this, air quotes, climate change stuff. But everybody else that's in the Paris climate doesn't. But yet we get all the flack for holding up our end. And then when he wants to leave this bad agreement, all of a sudden it's horrible and he doesn't believe in climate change. It's dumb, but it's good for America, I believe. Trump moves to withdraw the U.S. from the World Health Organization. Sure, I'm fine with that too. And the World Health Organization has nothing good to say in my mind, and a whole bunch of other people's minds because of how they handle COVID and a whole bunch of nonsense that goes onto them. Um, plus Fauci's tied to him, so it's bad enough. Big one. Trump pardons. Excuse me. I don't know. I'd have to dig a little bit more into this one because I didn't break it down, the details of this one. But he did write. He did sign an order pardoning January 6th, January Sixers that were arrested or have been in jail. Yeah, like why not? There's literally people that have been sitting in jail from that. I'm not saying everybody, but there are some who have been sitting in jail from that January 6th event 3 years ago, and they have not had a trial. They have not been convicted. They have not been uh, even convicted or anything. They've just were brought to jail and just put there. That's it. There's 70-something-year-old grandmas who were there just looking at stuff inside the building because she was there and walked in, and she was arrested. FBI raids, going berserk at all these people's houses. Some people that weren't even there. Some people that didn't even go in the building, that maybe were on the grounds. FBI raids at their house. FBI raids at the families. That's crazy. That's nonsense. That's not how a freedom-loving country. That's not how you act. That's not the things you do. So he pardoned those people. Again, I don't know the extent of that. I don't know the extent of if it was just a blanket everybody or if it was most or what. I'm not sure. Executive order for keeping TikTok online for now. I know that's a big thing for some of you people that love TikTok. Honestly, I should, for sake of marketing this podcast, I probably should get on TikTok and do a little bit with it, since it does seem to be the platform that everybody's on. I just haven't up to this point, just being honest. But yeah, so in conservative circles, there's this really big back and forth with TikTok and what to do with it, how we should be towards it. I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, I'm sure that I'm sure that the Chinese are using our information from all of our people on it for nefarious reasons. I'm sure they are, but at the same time, they don't just have that stuff from TikTok. Like, I mean, they already have it. If you're online, they already have all this stuff. I don't know. That's just me being pessimistic, maybe. Executive action freezing many new orders by Biden. So I kind of already talked about that. That's basically just him ending what Biden had going. Executive action ordering federal. This one I kind of chuckled at this one. Executive action ordering federal employees back to work 5 days a week. Oh no, you had to go back to work for 5 days a week. And then Trump rescinds the 2021 Title IX for athletics with basically, and he said this. I don't know the exact wording in the bill, but he said this in the speech. Men are not going to play in women's sports. Period. Like we don't need that. And he did even make a point to say that the official stance of the American government is that there are two sexes, there are two genders, and man and woman, male, female. That's it. Period. Well, I know a bunch of conservatives are like, obviously, yeah, and like I agree with that, and conservatives are going to be happy about that. People who love truth are going to be happy about that. But I will say that that's not as much as we are good with that. That's not a Trump thing. That's not a Trump thing. That's a God Bible thing. The ultimate truths come from the Bible. They don't come from because Trump said them. And I mean, yes. So So support him when he says truth. Absolutely. If it was a guy with a different name up there and he was saying true things, yeah, support him. But Trump is he's the what's the word I want? I don't know, but he's the one with the microphone, and he's the one that's got the loudest mouth right now, and he's saying some true things. So, again, support him when he says true things. So, all that being said, and I definitely have said this before. I believe it was election night. It was my election results podcast when we found out that he was the president-elect. Well, now we know that he is the president. And I'm going to say the same thing again. I'm going to repeat myself. We need to hold him accountable, just like we were all up in arms with all the crazy stuff that Biden and Harris did. Trump is making many, many good promises. He's saying a lot of good things, a lot of true things that many, many people agree with and want to see happen and changes we want to see in our country. So we need to hold him accountable to that. And I don't know, like, one thing I just will say, and this was just something I just purely noticed. It could mean absolutely nothing, so don't put too much into what I'm about to say. But one thing that I just noticed watching the whole official inauguration, swearing in, that I watched the whole thing. I watched, I think, most of all of the when he went to the arena and had like a celebration right after the swearing in. I watched all of that. And obviously both times, he's bringing up many people in his cabinet, many people that he wants to thank and all this stuff. I never once heard him talk about Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., and Make America Healthy Again. I never once heard him say anything in relation to any of that. And that may have been on accident. That may have been it just wasn't the right setting because, technically as of now, RFK is not, in the administration. Maybe it just wasn't, RFK's position to be there at that time. I don't know. I want to hope that it's nothing worse than that. But I know that a big reason that a lot of people supported Trump the way they did was because of Make America Healthy Again. And so I hope there's nothing weird going on there. But that's just me noticing something that could absolutely be nothing. And but with that being said, happy Inauguration Day. This is Trump VOL.2, 47th President of the United States of America. Again, he says great things. So let's hold him to that. And he says that we need to bring God back to the country. He says that Jesus is Lord. Let's see that. Let's remind him of that. And also let's pray for our leaders. Pray for Trump. Pray for Vance. Pray for everybody else, and pray that there really is some movement towards God. But that being said, remember, no matter who's in political office, no matter any lack of or any level of political persecution when it comes to being a Christian, when it comes to your beliefs in God, whether the persecution is there or not there, whoever's in office shouldn't dictate what truth is, or they don't dictate what truth is, and they shouldn't dictate your relationship with the Lord. So remember that. So I think it's okay to be excited, and it's okay to be cautiously excited. It's okay to have all those different thoughts and feelings. But I'm moving forward. Happy so far. So we'll see how this thing goes. But with that, remember, truth is strength.